Beautiful people, welcome back. This is what episode? Shit, I think 84. I know I do this every time I start this episode because I don't remember at a certain point, but I know we in the 80s. So if you've been rocking with me for a long time, thank you. Love you. New listeners, welcome to the show. My name is Richard. I drop episodes every Sunday. Point of the show is to challenge your beliefs and perspectives at the end of the day. And here we are, still rocking. On today's episode, guys, I have with me Paul. Paul, my guy, welcome to the show.
Hi, cheers, Richard. Thanks for having me on, mate. Appreciate it.
Much
Hi
love,
to you
man.
listeners as well. Yeah, happy birthday as well, by the way.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I'm feeling a little, well, this is definitely a high episode. So if you're a smoker and you want to help me celebrate my birthday, roll up before you continue this episode and just spark
That's
one
it.
with me. This is a
Some
birthday
good advice
episode.
there.
Let's go. Paul, let us know about you, man.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll take you back to when I first started waking up, and so we're going all the way back now to the 2000s. But in a way, it goes back earlier than that because even when I was a kid, I used to get a lot of what do they call it? What's the word? Where you think something's happened before. I can't remember the name of it now, what they call it, but yeah, I used to get that a lot
Like
as a
deja
kid,
vu.
and then yeah, that's it, deja vu. Yeah, I used to get a ton of deja vu when I was a kid, but as I got older, it's got less. But when I was getting to like coming up to my 20th birthday, I was getting a lot of synchronicities with numbers, a hell of a lot of synchronicities, and at the time I didn't understand it. I was getting 11, 11, 12, 12, 22, 22, constantly. Whenever I'd look at the phone, I'd get it. I'd see it in other places, Then I started getting 13 a lot, the number 13. So I was getting these like synchronicities and stuff like that. And then, of course, when 9/11 happened, that was like a month before my 21st birthday.
Okay.
And so 9/11 happened and kind of thought it was strange at the time when I see it. It didn't really add up, but I was still fast asleep then, to be honest. Went to a few years later that my younger brother, he had this DVD. He said, "You gotta watch this DVD, you gotta watch this DVD." I said, "Why?" He said, "You gotta watch it. It's about 9/11." I said, "Okay, let me have a look." So it's called 9/11 in Plain Sight.
I
I
think
watched
I've
this
heard of that
DVD.
title.
Blue. Yeah. It's an old school one. Like it's probably one of the first 9/11 DVDs to come out.
Cool.
Like the conspiracy sort of subject on 9/11. And yeah, I watched this DVD and it sort of really opened my eyes. I was like, wow, okay, this is interesting. But I was still sleeping. And I don't know if I mentioned this to you before, but I used to go to theatre school and do acting. And when I
No.
was in this, yeah, I used to do acting. Trained actor, but I sort of mainly based in theatre. And I was at this theatre school, and this guy come up to me. It's really random, actually. This guy from my class. One day, he just said to me, "Have you ever heard of the Illuminati?" I was like, "No." He goes, "You should check it out, man." I was like, "Okay." Really weird, just like random, like out of the
Yeah.
blue, like that. And so, weren't until a few years on. See, I see my life as in two parts, like my sleeping life and then my waking up life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because actually those two lives were completely different lives as well. And I think really it wasn't until we got the internet actually, was when I really started waking up because we got a computer in around 2007. And of course, we got the internet and I've always been an inquisitive person. I've always been one of these people that likes to know things, learn new
Mm-hmm.
things. So of course when we got the internet, back in the day as well, like YouTube was different. Like YouTube used to have really loads of cool small channels that were like putting out all these like truth videos. They didn't have many views, they'd have like 200-300 views, but it was like solid content.
Yeah.
And they bury a lot of these channels. So to be honest, I'd say that it was really around 2010 that I really started to wake up. And around that time, that's when my old life changed and I was getting into this new life. Basically, I'd say this leads me on to this epiphany that I had in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was, so I was living a life, like I was living a family life, yeah. Settled down for about 9 years. Then everything changed, yeah. Had to find somewhere new to live. Didn't really have much money, you know. I was struggling. I was down bad, you know. I was really struggling. Basically, I had to start from scratch when I was like 30. And I remember I was sitting in a car with a new friend, actually, which someone that I probably would have never met if my life hadn't have changed. I've become single again, basically. So I was living the single life. What happened was I was sitting in the car, and I suddenly realised, like, I was having this epiphany that, because I thought my whole future was set out in stone. You know, I thought, oh, I'm going to be with this person, I'm going to be living this family life. You know, I thought my future was set. Then suddenly I realised, no, the future's not set in stone,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't live in the past. You know, I was thinking about the past, and I was thinking, oh, you know, all these different things. You know, you might have regrets or and whatnot. And then I was thinking, you know, you can't live in the past either. All you can do is live in the now, the moment. I'm living at the apex of my life right now. Yeah, anything could happen now, you know. And as I started thinking this, weird stuff started happening. Yeah, like the birds. Like it was an afternoon. It was like around 4:30,
Mm-hmm.
and the birds started. You know, I could hear the birds tweeting. But as I was like thinking this, it's almost like my ears like tuned into them even more, and it become heightened. Everything become heightened. Like I was looking at this tree, and the way like the leaves and the branches were swaying. It was almost like watching a movie. Like it was all there for me. And
Yeah.
as this started happening, I started noticing that out the corner in my peripheral vision, stuff started like happening. Like things started like bending. Yeah, and I could
That's
see like,
crazy.
I know, man, right? Like I could literally see behind the veil. You know, it was like I think that's what really sort of like woke me up to the reality of this world, that it's not what we think it is, because
Mhm.
literally I see time and space start to bend at the edges. And that's when it come to me, and I said, no, you got to live in the moment. You can't live in the future because it's not promised. You can't live
Mhm.
in the past because it's already gone. You know, you can't change the past. All you've got is this moment right now. And yeah, I think that really sort of like woke me up a lot. And that's when back then, obviously, I was single, so I could really dig down the rabbit hole. And honestly, Richard, I've been through nearly every rabbit hole there is. Yeah, I've been down there. And you know, I've got to give a shout out. Actually, there's a guy on he's just joined Twitter, but I think, you know, he's been on there before. His name's Russian Vids. He's an old school, like he's an OG truther basically. He's been doing it well over 10 years, and I found his videos around 2009, 2010, and this guy woke me up to so much stuff. You know, like regarding the hoaxes, all this sort of stuff. So when I started realizing about crisis actors and things like that, you know, it really
Crisis
sort of freed
actors,
my mind.
that that was
Yeah,
wild. It is wild.
yeah, that whole thing, you know, with the hoaxes and crisis actors, this is what really woke me up. Yeah, when I realized that a lot of this stuff's fake, and they put out a lot of this stuff and it's not real, that really freed my mind. Yeah, that made me sort of let go of a lot of the fear programming. You know, because they're constantly programming us with fear, and that really I let go a lot when, you know, I started realizing about the hoaxes and stuff.
Hmm.
And so yeah, as time went on, you know, obviously when I was single, I had more time on my hands. I could dig down. I was like up till 3 in the morning watching all these crazy videos. And you know, like with truth and with waking up, it happens in stages. You know, I'm still waking up now. No matter how much I've learned, there's always still more to learn. You know, I've been through the hoaxes, the flat earth, the, you know, actor-based reality, all these different conspiracies and stuff. And obviously, you take what chimes with you, isn't it? You know, you
Yep.
might listen to a certain person, and you might not believe everything they say, that's fine. But the stuff that rings true with you, you take that with you. Yeah. And the other stuff you can just leave behind. I don't expect everyone to sort of, my posts are quite out there on Twitter. I cover a lot of different stuff. I don't expect everyone to agree with all my posts. That's fine. Everyone believes what they want to believe, don't they? That everyone has their own reality and their own beliefs, So I
Many of
respect
them.
that. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, as time's gone on, I'm I'm one of these people. I don't want to just give up. Yeah, I don't want to get to a certain point and say, yeah, I've learned enough now. I always seeking out more truth. It's just the type of person I am.
Yeah. It's always that curiosity. I've had um just like just wanted to know about life in general. Like something ain't right. Like when I was
Mm,
younger and my grandma and my mom made me go to church, something ain't feel right. And I always thought I was like the odd child in church because like I don't feel shit in here. But now I understand
mm.
because my soul knew that the because I don't want to disrespect anyone.
Yeah, I know what you
Religion.
mean. It's a difficult subject. I'm the same, Richard, because I was brought up in a Catholic schools. Yeah, I went to like quite strict Catholic schools. Yeah, so we had to go to church every week and all this stuff. And so I've been through that whole system. And it weren't till I was old, when I was 18. One of my best friends, he never went to a religious school, and I mentioned something about religion. He was like, "Oh, do you believe in all that?" And I was like, "Well, yeah." And it was the first time that I'd heard that someone didn't believe in this, right?
Hmm.
Like the way they taught it to us at school was like, this is the truth. This is the only truth. There's no other truth. So it kind of blew my mind a bit when he told me, oh, I don't believe in all that. Like, I don't know if he was like an atheist or an agnostic or what, but he was like, no, I don't believe in all that. And it blew my mind because I was like, wow, there's other people. And then obviously I started learning about all the other religions and stuff. And I was just like, wow, and as I've got older, I think I've sort of I've moved away a bit from that, and you know, definitely a spiritual person, but I believe more. I think I'm starting to believe more in like reincarnation and like not being down here just once. Like you've been
Yeah.
down here many times. That's more. I think what I believe now. But you're right. I don't want to insult anyone's beliefs because I know people hold those beliefs quite strongly.
1,000%, man. So I know. Okay. Oh, one thing I've noticed today. So I had went indoor skydiving yesterday.
Oh
And that
yeah,
shit was fun as fuck. If anyone
damn.
hasn't gone, I highly recommend it.
Bro,
Um,
I'm too old for that now. I'm like 41 now. I think you got to do all that stuff before you're 30, because after you're 30, this sort of thing kicks in where it's like, nah, that's too dangerous. Yeah, I don't want to do that.
hey, I live on the edge, man. I'm definitely skydiving um next year for my 30th birthday. Fucking for sure.
Oh, cool.
But on the way back when I was driving, so one thing I've noticed in the UK is you if you really pay attention to the sky these days, if anybody's, well, of course, if you're listening, next time you're in your car or you just outside, notice the different clouds in the sky. If you pay attention, because you don't really think about it, you just walk outside, you just use the clouds, so you don't really study them. But
Mm,
it's like you see some lower level ones who are just like thin as shit, but they just dark and random. And above it, you see a clear sky with the
mm.
sun. So it's like when you think about it, it's like how is that possible, right? And it's so low to the ground that with reason you could you know
Yeah, it feels
go
like you
through
could
it.
almost touch them. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I'm like, weather machine for sure. I don't know
Yeah,
how.
100%. Yeah, I see your post on that, and you know what? 100% they can manipulate weather. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I see a video once where they actually made a rain cloud. So they were in a desert and they had this machine, and they basically blew this cloud up into the air, and it sort of traveled, and then it started producing rain. And I was like, wow, they literally just made a rain cloud, you know? And it does make you wonder what they can do with the weather. I know some people think that's crazy, but I
Well,
believe they've got technology
they
that.
did that in uh Texas for sure.
Mm.
They did that in Texas for sure.
Oh yeah, there's definitely stuff going on with the weather's crazy at at the minute as well. You know, as well. Do you know what I've noticed as well? The sun's different. Yeah, I remember the sun used to be more
Bro,
yellow,
I've
and
been
now the
peeping
sun's
that.
more white. It's like really fun. Sun's changed,
Yeah,
man.
the moon looked fake yesterday.
Oh, I think it's froze, man. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Oh, cool. Thought it froze, man. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's interesting. That whole weather thing is definitely something that I'm interested in. But you know, this is the whole thing now. This is going to be the new thing, the climate crisis or the climate emergency. You know, this is going to be the new thing going forward. I think it's going to be lockdowns for climate and this type of thing. I don't know. I mean, you know, I think this whole COVID thing has been like the new 9/11 in terms of like waking people up. Like 9/11 was the new JFK, and COVID's like the new 9/11.
It's just meant to wake people up at this point. Where you pause, brother. I mean, I pause, mute it. Where you're muted. You're muted. Wait, can you hear me?
You're up, mate. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you
Yeah,
now,
muted.
brother.
I wasn't. Was I muted the whole time then?
Yeah,
Have I
you.
been muted for the past? Oh, I don't know. Have I been muted for the past
Yeah,
20 minutes?
yeah.
Oh, you're joking.
No, I was joking. It
Oh,
was just the
no
past.
way.
You just paused
Just a
for
minute
like
ago.
a good minute. Yeah.
Oh man, I thought I was on mute for the whole last 20 minutes.
No, you've been
I thought
good,
that
bro.
would be typical of my luck, man.
You've been good, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I think it dropped. I think it kicked me out a minute, Richard, and brought me back in. But
It's all good, bro. I'll edit this part. It's okay.
yeah, yeah, you can edit it out, can't you? It's all good. Yeah, so yeah, definitely something's going on with the weather, man. 100%.
It's people is study the clouds, man. Just fucking study the clouds. I've noticed too. So a lot they basically I felt okay, for example, they talking so it's certain firms like COVID test firms like selling customers DNA. And it's like
Yeah.
for someone who's gone through, a test, that's an invasion of
I know it's
privacy
crazy.
around it.
Yeah.
It's wild. And they don't have
Yeah, it's
no say so.
no, it's crazy. I've heard this that they're selling DNA from these swabs and tests and stuff. You know, so what they doing with that? Do you
It
know what
was
I mean?
exactly.
You
Damn,
know,
that
it
is the
does make you
question though.
wonder.
What are you doing with my
Yeah.
DNA?
Well, you think DNA is specific to a person, you know, every DNA
Mm,
is going to be different. So, I mean, I'm a bit paranoid like that anyway. I was like, oh, don't really want them having my DNA. Do you know
right.
what I mean? Don't really want to
Fucking,
do one of these swabs,
fucking
you
guilty
know.
as
But
charged.
yeah, but I had to do one in the hospital, you know. When I had that op, the nurse goes, oh, we got to give you a COVID test. I said, oh, can I do it myself? Because I don't really want you shoving that up in my brain stem. She was like,
Yeah.
yeah, go on then. And so I was doing it. And as I was doing it, she goes, bit more, bit more. I was like, oh, oof,
Fuck's
you know,
sake.
how far do you want me to shove this thing up my nose? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, no good, mate. No good.
That shit bonkers. I hate it. I fucking hate it. It's the head ass of it of this damn jab shit. Now they're telling you there's no known amount of boosters needed to be okay. So they could tell
Well,
you for the next six
yeah,
boosters that's gonna be the requirement.
exactly.
It's like
This
damn,
what I'm saying. It's ridiculous, man. That's why I don't even want to entertain it. I'm not even having one. Yeah, because if you
fuck
have,
man.
say you had your two shots, yeah, now they're saying you've got to have a booster. So you had your 2 shots, yeah, you done what the government told you.
That
Yeah,
didn't
you
work.
believe what they said. That didn't work. Now you got to have a booster. So what happens when that booster runs out? You got to have another booster. Listen, I'm not going down that road. I've never had a flu jab. Yeah, my immunity is quite good. I trust my immunity. I get ill maybe once a year. You know, a little bit of a head cold. That's it. Yeah, there's no way I'm having a flu shot, and there's certainly no way I'm having a COVID shot because I don't believe that I need it. You know, I've not hidden away for the past 18 months. I've been out working, I've been using cash, you know, I've been at the petrol pumps, you know, I've been good, you know, so I'm not rushing off to go and get double jabbed, no. And the thing is, Richard, yeah, I don't know whether it's because of the reality that I've created or I've just been lucky, but it hasn't affected me. It hasn't impacted my life at
But
all, not being jabbed.
the recent pandemic.
Yeah, it hasn't impacted me at all. You know, I still worked. You know, I haven't had a jab. Obviously, you know, we had lockdowns and stuff, which you know you couldn't really do. You couldn't. There was nothing open. You know, you couldn't go anywhere. But in terms of like not being able to do stuff now, you know, I travelled last year. Um, I've gone. I've never been refused anywhere. I've never been refused to go in a restaurant, a pub. You know, we're going to the theatre next week. There's nothing to say we can't come in because we're unvaccinated. So I don't know whether it's because of the reality, because I have not been plugged into that
You just been
stuff. You
creating
know
your
what I mean? Like,
preferred timeline in that experience.
yeah, exactly that. Because I haven't engaged with it. I've unplugged myself from all that news.
But
Yeah,
people,
and so it hasn't.
have
Yeah,
you ever had people like challenge your thought on that? Like when you explain it to them, like, no, just like
yeah.
aggressive.
I
It's
was yeah. That totally. Oh, it's weird. Yeah, something like that did happen to me. Yeah, so I had to get a car towed back. My car broke down, my old car, and I had to get it towed back on the back of a lorry. So I was sitting in the cab with the guy. Bearing in mind, right, he had no mask on, right. So which I didn't mind. I don't care if he ain't got a mask. Not a problem to me.
yeah.
But he'd been jabbed, right, and he turned around to me. He said, "Oh, so have you had your jab?" And I was like, "No, not yet." And he straight away went, you must get your jab. You must do it. It's very
Fuck
important.
that
Like
shit.
it, literally like that. Like it was weird. Like it was almost like he was programmed to react like that when I said, no,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had it yet. And I was just like kind of a bit blown away by it. I was like, all right, chill, dude. You know what I mean? It's like, I'll get it at some point. And that's what I said to him because I just thought, I ain't going to get into it with him. You know what I mean? Listen, I avoid that, Richard. I avoid those type of confrontations when people say, oh, you know, they want to know about the jab. What's your jab status? I don't get involved in it because I've seen like on Twitter where people have said, oh, I've lost friends, I've lost family members because of the, you know, I'm unvaccinated. And like, as I said to you, no one's bothered me. I haven't been bothered by work. I haven't been bothered by family members. You know, I don't know if that's because they know I'm so far gone. They know that I'm not going to have it, you know what I mean? So they just don't bother asking me. But I'm not being pressured by anyone, you know, like I've got other friends that are unjabbed and they get a lot of pressure from like their parents or their partner, you know, saying, "Oh, you know, when are you going to get it? When are you going to get it?" But I haven't experienced any of that social pressure. It's so weird.
They
It's
don't
almost
see
like,
they don't
yeah,
they
just
definitely don't see the deaths and the things that happen after for some people, and then they challenge your perspective on not getting it. And it's like, look, I'm good. I don't know what the
yeah.
fuck
Listen,
off of this shit.
we exactly that, mate. I mean, I've seen so many of these videos, yeah, and I don't know. I mean, they look legit to me. You know, when someone's being carted out of one of these places and their legs all shaky, you know that looks pretty legit to me. And the thing is, not only that, I actually know people, yeah, personally that have had the jab and then now they've been affected with blood clots and stuff like that. So I definitely believe it's a real thing. You know, these adverse reactions and deaths from it. It's not a joke, yeah, and it's not made up. And that's enough for me to say no, I don't want it. You know, and people say, oh well, what about COVID? Well, I'll take my chances with COVID because I've probably got more chance of being fine from that than I have. You know, once that stuff's in you, yeah, you can't get it out. Yeah,
Yeah,
once
you
it's in you,
can.
that's it. That's it. You cannot get it out. And that's the thing, you know, I've seen so many people with jabber's remorse, you know, where they've got the jab to go on holiday, or they've like caved into social pressure, got it, they didn't really want to get it, and now they're regretting it.
The people, it's like you have free will not to get it, right? But then depending
Absolutely.
on your life situation, let's say you like your
Mm,
job, if you're a nurse and
yeah,
this is what you
yeah,
what you're
yeah,
going to school and whatever and working for,
yeah,
you
yeah.
have to do
You've
it. And
got
it's
to
like
do
it's
it.
just fucked
Yeah.
up at the end of the day.
It's mental. It's crazy how, like, it's almost like they've created this environment where, and this is the other thing I don't like, Richard. Yeah, I hate tags. You know, when they put tags on people, it's like, oh, you're an anti-vaxxer. Oh, you're a flat
Yeah,
earther.
yeah.
Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Oh, you're this, you're that. You know, these tags are there for a reason. You know,
Like
they
conspiracy
invent
theorists
these.
are the real ones, man.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Listen, they put these tags on people to scare the general public away from looking into stuff. You know, it's like, oh, I don't
They
want to
make
be
fun of
accused of
it
being an
too.
anti-vaxxer. Yeah, oh yeah, they
They make
ridicule it.
fun of
Yeah,
it
that's
because
the
it's
other
like,
thing.
haha.
Yeah, yeah, of course. That's the other thing they do. If something gets too big, then they, you know, once something starts getting to that point where it's too big to shut down or squash, they just ridicule it. Then they say they make a joke out of it. So it's like, well, if you believe in that, you're an idiot. You know what I mean? It's that type
Yeah.
of thing. But you know, I don't really care about stuff like that. Listen, I've been waking up so long now. I'm past the point of like caring what people think. Listen, it's funny actually. I was having a little DM with Rambo
Love
earlier from
Rambo.
Twitter, and I was saying to him how I said after Richard's podcast, so you probably get two sets of people. One set that think that I need to seek help, and another set that goes, okay, this guy might be onto something here, you know. So that's always the way it's going to be, Richard. You're always going to have those people that it doesn't matter how much evidence you show them, it doesn't matter what you tell them, they still won't believe it because the programming
It's just
runs so
cognitive
deep.
dissonance.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You know, if you tell something to someone and it breaks their reality, then doesn't it? And it,
Like my
you
mom,
know, a lot of people can't deal with that.
all she does is trust the news, and she says
Yeah,
that she doesn't trust anything on the internet. So you already doomed at that point. You
well,
far
yeah, but
gone.
but the thing is, my dad's the same. You know, I think what it is, Richard, with the older generation, they have been brought up to trust the government, trust the news. You know, and it's really sad
Mm,
to see. You know, like you try and tell them and say, listen, don't believe everything you see on the news because a lot of it is just rubbish. You know, and you try and explain it, but they've been brought up in a era where the news was trustworthy. You know, politicians were trustworthy. You know,
that's
but
crazy. When you think about life, it comes in waves. So our, let's say 80, 90 years of experience is a brick in making this experience better for ourselves to experience
mm,
itself in. So their generation was contrast and a mirror for us to be like, nah, I'm not liking this. Something needs to
yeah,
change. And then it's just wow when you think about that.
yeah, it's almost like a cycle as well. You know,
Yes.
sometimes you get like these like time loops and stuff like that where something's happened before. That's why a lot of the time I think it, you know, this reality could be running on a AI script. You know, like an
Mhm.
AI thing in the background that's running this whole reality. Now that's the thing. Like when there's two types of different sort of conspiracy genres that I like to. You've got your, you know, you've got your sort of like the stuff that, you know, the celebrities, your
Mhm.
9/11s, like these type of things. Like these are the sort of things that I look into or go back to, you know, as not entertainment, but that I see that as more like the light end of the conspiracy spectrum. I
Mhm.
like it if I really want to challenge myself and get deep. That's when I start looking into like the whole, you know, life after death. You know, what does life mean? What is this reality about? You know,
Yeah.
all that kind of that sort of end of it. You know, I find that's the sort of stuff that I find really interesting at the minute. You know, because all that other stuff's kind of old to me now, but obviously, you know, to some people it's new. You know, I put out a tweet where I said that waking up is not a competition or a race. You know,
No, it's
people
not.
wake up. It's not. It's totally not. It's not a competition. It's not a race. It people wake up in their own time, and it happens in stages. You know, like when my brother showed me that 9/11 video, I thought I was awake then, but I wasn't. I was still living
We
my old life.
forever
I was still
learning.
always learning, and you're always going to learn something new. If you keep digging and you're that type of person that likes to seek out truth, then you'll find it eventually. But
But
yeah, it's always interested me, and obviously once you're awake, that's it. You can't really go back to sleep.
it's
It's
no,
it's funny
it's not
because the
going
film
back.
Matrix has got so many truisms to it. When you
My,
start getting into that film,
that
it's
film is
crazy how
just
much
a
stuff's.
representation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
My,
exactly that.
I've started getting like synchronicities when I was in college. That's really when I had my spiritual
Mm,
awakening, and then from there
yeah,
just unraveling this matrix. It just
this is it. I think that. Yeah, go on. Sorry, Rich.
no, you good, and
Get
just
this line.
because at a certain point, right? Because like you mentioned earlier, you experience certain things because that's your vibration and that's what you're aligning with
Yeah.
in your reality,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
So once you become the master of that, you
Mm,
can't be the victim of shit. Like yesterday,
yeah.
I
Exactly.
was yesterday I was practicing just shifting my perspective on a situation that was unfavorable. Um, and I just looked at it like it's kind of like a childlike view, like, okay, well, if it wasn't supposed to happen this way, then it wouldn't be.
Mm,
But it's happening, so
exactly.
let's ride with it. It's no point. I can't control
Yeah,
it.
that's it. And I totally believe that myself. Yeah, because with life, you're always going to have. This is why I like this whole like timelines thing. Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
like timeline jumping because with life, you're always going to have a decision, whether it could be a big decision or what you consider to be insignificant decision, but you're always going to get a point in time where the time like forks out. Yeah, and you've got like two different roads you can go down depending on what decision you make. And I always believe you're at the point in your life where you're supposed to be, at that time, because that's how
Always.
it's worked out, right? If it was going to work out differently, it would have worked out differently. And it's right, like what you were saying about victim mentality. If you've got that mentality, sometimes you might get women or even men where they'll say, "Oh, I always attract the wrong type of person. I always attract this type of person, that type of person," because that's what they're putting out there. So that's what they're attracting to them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even sometimes I struggle with it. I can be quite negative minded sometimes. I know
It's
that
easy to get into
even
that
knowing what I know,
mental.
it's easy to fall into that. It's easier to think negatively than it is positively. But once you learn to sort of like break that cycle of negative thinking, you really can change your reality. Thoughts manifest reality. Words
Mm-hmm.
are spells. Um, Once you learn how to control that, you can. And going back to the jab thing, actually, Richard, right, with work.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's so weird because just before the pandemic started, I changed jobs, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and my previous job, no doubt they would have asked me to get the jab because we had to. In my previous job, we had like a counter where the public would come in, so you're seeing the public at work. So they would have said, "Oh well, you need the jab because members of the public are coming in. We need you to get the jab." Whereas where I'm working now, we're in this like small office. We don't see people. We just a little self-contained unit. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of weird how that panned out just before the pandemic kicked off. So I was in a situation where work and the jab wasn't a problem. So again, I believe it's what you create is the reality that you live in.
Big facts, because I work remote, so I ain't never.
Yeah.
That's a no
Oh yeah,
go.
you're working from home. That's nice, isn't it? Yeah. When you put on the old dressing gown and you're sitting at the
Man,
computer.
bro, I did that
How good's that?
I did that on the day before. That shit was lovely. And
Yeah,
then
because we worked at home for about 3 months. So yeah, I hear that.
I don't
It's
even
nice.
I don't want to go into the office at that point. Fuck that shit. But
No,
guys,
that's it. Yeah.
what oh with that, have you ever seen this movie called Tenet?
What's it called?
Tenet, Tenet.
Tenant. No, I haven't seen that. No. Is that a new one or an old one?
It's a new one. I guess like within the last year, I would say.
Oh, okay. I
But
mean,
this
I haven't seen many, new films lately.
is just talks about timelines and just
Oh, okay.
how reality been is very, very interesting. When I was
Oh,
indoor skydiving, the way this guy was moving reminded me of it. I was like, damn, that's like you're bending with reality. Like it's
yeah,
possible for you to flow with reality and just fly around. I'm like, that shit is wild.
that's crazy, right? So they say, we don't use all of our brains, okay? So
Hmm.
obviously, people have got like psychic senses and stuff like that. You know, we used to be able to communicate telepathically. Yeah, we used
Yeah,
to be able to. I believe we used to be able to fly. Yeah, but we
I can
lost
believe
all
it.
that. Yeah, I really think if you believe something enough, you can do it. And it's like this takes me to this sandwich metaphor. Yeah, so I always use this as a metaphor for manifesting something.
Hmm.
And obviously something with something as simple and small as a sandwich, right? You're sitting there, you're hungry, you want to make a sandwich. You can make that sandwich. You've got all the ingredients in the kitchen, but you have to take steps to make that sandwich into reality. I.e., you need to go and make it. You need to get up off the sofa. You need to go to the kitchen, get some bread, put your filling in there, you come back, your sandwich is there. It's the
Hmm.
same with anything. It's the same. You can do that with anything, but you have to take the steps to do it. You can't just sit there and say, "Oh, I want to do this," and then it just magically appears or happens. No, you need to take steps to make that a reality. But you can do it, and you can do it with anything, no matter something as small as making a sandwich or something as big as whatever your greatest goal is. Whatever your greatest target is.
With enough
I believe that.
consistency, I've been learning this with lifting, like with and exercising and yeah, exercising definitely is the blueprint. I feel like that shows you that if you do something consistent
Yeah, because
for
you see results.
you see
You see the
results and you
results,
can
right?
you can
Yeah.
physically you can physically see it. Like there's no doubt about it.
Mm.
And when you take that concept, that discipline, and you apply it to
Hmm.
anything you want to do, you have solid proof now. If I do this for let's just say 4 months, I'm gonna see results.
Yeah, that's it.
Anything is gonna happen after that with whatever you choose. So it just gives you that confidence and that reassurance. Like, damn, okay, this is proof. I can't deny this proof. Because
Yeah,
sometimes you
because you're
need that. Like
seeing.
when I first sorry to cut you off.
No,
When I
cool.
first had my awakening, and not the first time, I guess like the during that journey after college, I would say. Um I was struggling to fully adopt the knowing that I can bend reality to my
Mm.
liking with whatever I want to experience. Sometimes you need that constant reassurance to fully sink in because you're not used to that new level awareness, if you
Yeah,
will. And so it
yeah,
takes
exactly.
a bit of convincing to to come into terms with and accept it, and then just you just flow with it and
Yeah, that's it. 100%. And it's same with like going back to the conspiracy thing. Like waking up in stages. There was stuff that I saw. Back in 2009, 2010, that I dismissed as outlandish, that now I know to be pretty much true. Like, so stuff that I dismissed years ago that I was like, wow, that's just too far out there. The more you wake, that's the thing with waking up. The more you wake up, the crazier you seem to
mm-hmm.
people. That's just the nature of it. The more awareness you have of reality and what goes on in this reality, the more crazy you're going to seem to the average person. But that's just how it is, unfortunately. And that doesn't bother me because, as I said, I don't really think about what people think. I live how I see it, and that's how I do it. So
You
yeah.
want to know a wild concept? I took a break from smoking for a good month and a half. That's the longest I haven't
Okay.
smoked
Mm.
since I started I wouldn't say since I started, but like a great chunk of years, I would say.
Mm,
But I was going for a walk one time, and I was just looking at the different flats and shit. And then this one person was in the window, and I just had the thought like we we care about the opinions of others. Like for like if somebody's looking at me,
mm.
the thought you have is like, how do I hope I present it, well,
Yeah, yeah,
to be accepted, because the feeling is just want to be
yeah,
accepted, right?
yeah. Of course. Yeah.
So I was thinking like from their perspective, I'm just a random ass player in their not even player in their perspective, but it's a regular person that you randomly see in your reality, and they're
Mm.
the same for me. And when you look at it from that perspective on any person's opinion of you, it's like it don't matter at the end of the day.
Yeah, of course.
It don't
Listen, it
matter.
doesn't matter what people think about you. It's what you think about yourself that matters. If you care about yourself, that's what's important. But this is how society is, isn't it? It's that social pressure, like that peer pressure to be accepted. That's why a lot of people, listen, I'm the same. I'm guilty of it. Do you think I'd post half? I wouldn't even post one post that I post on Twitter or on my Facebook. People would lose their shit. They'd be like, "Oh my god, Paul's gone crazy." Paul's gone crazy. I'll be like,
1,000%.
nah, I've been crazy for a minute. You just didn't know. You know what I mean? It's like, uh, you know, people people aren't ready for that. Sort of like a lot of people ain't ready for that information because, like you say, it will blow their minds, or they just dismiss it. They've been programmed to dismiss it. Like, oh, you're crazy. Oh, why do you think like that? Oh no, you. Another thing, what they do, Richard. Yeah, this is programming as well. So when you say to someone, when you tell someone something, yeah, like one of these conspiracies, let's say, one of the things I'll say to you, which they've been programmed to respond, is, "Oh, you've been watching too many movies. Oh, you watch too much TV." Because a lot of the time, the predictive program will be in movies and in television.
Thousand percent.
With these things, yeah, exactly. So when you try and communicate that to someone who's not awake or not aware, they'll turn around to you and say, "Oh, you've been watching too much TV," because that's how they view it. It's like, you're letting your imagination run riot, run away from you, sort of thing. And it's like, well, okay,
It's just
sometimes you can't argue with people. Listen, you can't force someone to wake up. And to be honest, like, I'm not really interested in waking people up. Like
no
I
point,
really
man.
I just use Twitter to vent. I use Twitter
Mhm.
because it helps me, put this stuff out there. If I've picked up some of this knowledge along the way, I'll share it.
Mhm.
People don't have to believe it. People don't have to agree with it. But I'm just putting it out there for people that it's new for. If they take it on board, great. It's up to them. It doesn't
It's
bother
just
me either way, to be honest.
you giving it forward. Like when we get information and we remember things about ourselves, if we have to pay it forward. And
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly that. Yeah.
we don't you don't have to, but I feel like it's our duty. Well, my duty
Yeah.
personally,
Yeah.
I
Well,
should say.
this is it. This is. I agree with that, to be honest, because as I said, like, I've been waking up in stages for the last sort of 12 years or whatever. And
Life is an
I think,
awakening. Life is a whole
yeah,
awakening.
exactly.
That's all it
But
is.
some people go from, cradle to grave without having a single aware thought of this reality.
That's not.
And that's really sad.
Yeah,
Where people are totally brainwashed into the system. They they're born, they live, they pay taxes, they die, and that's it. And I don't. I'm happy to be awake. Yeah, I'm happy to be learning these truths. Yeah, I'd much rather that than being.
this is a God's
Uh,
dream.
yeah, because as I said earlier on, right at the beginning, when like, the more awake you become, the more free your mind becomes from the programming. It's actually quite easy for me to break my programming. I didn't go to university. I went to high school. by the last year, I wasn't really even paying much attention. You know, I used school more as a social thing. Yeah, you know,
That's
so
all it really
I
is.
went. Well, yeah, exactly. You know, and I went out to work straight away, and I just started working, and so basically, I can't remember. I've lost my train of thought. Do you know that happens to me a lot, Richard? Yeah, when I like sometimes
I
my
understand.
mind is racing so fast, like from this subject to this subject. I sometimes like lose my train of thought. I think, what was I talking about? Or there was a bigger point to this point. You know what I mean? That's what I was worried about before coming on the show. I was like, I read out this list of bullet points and stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, I really want to talk about this. I really want to talk about this, but sometimes, and at the same time, I was thinking, I hope I don't forget something, or I hope I don't forget the main point that binds all this together.
I
But you know,
live
if I do, I do. I'll come on to a show in the future and finish my point.
look,
You know.
I live by the idea that if it was meant to be said, shit, it'll be that was the message. Whatever said is supposed to be the message.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that is
Takes
definitely
that
true.
stress off.
Yeah, that's it. And you know, this is my first pod, so
You're
you
doing
know, I'm not
amazing,
really.
my friend. You're doing absolutely
Oh,
amazing.
do you know what? I've always been a talker. Yeah, I've always been a talker, and you know, I've always been quite good at sort of telling stories and stuff. But you know, it's like when you think, there's all these people listening. Yeah, it sort of like makes you a bit nervy. But I'm not seeing it like that because I know it's not a live stream. I know like people ain't out there sitting listening live. It's just two friends having a conversation about cool stuff. So you know, that's how I'm trying to view it.
If anybody doesn't, well, if you're new to the show, um, or yeah, if you're new to the show, listening to this, I'm working on my book currently, and I've taken a break on it because I wasn't ready to face myself, to be completely honest with you. It's a lot of introspection in the book. It's my cat. If you guys can hear a little squealing in the background, it's my little baby. Um, yeah, a lot of introspection. I wasn't ready to face. So for the rest of this book, I'm deciding to microdose and finish it. So some coming
So
soon,
what's
guys.
what's 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 the book about?
It's a look into my life and a
Mm,
blueprint to waking up. So it's
okay, cool.
my purpose with my book is basically just create a blueprint to helping you come back
Mm,
home to yourself. So whoever reads it
wicked.
from for now until whenever books are, whatever.
Well,
I
yeah. Well,
put
this is yeah. Go on. Sorry, mate.
no, you good. I put my stamp. I put my stamp
Yeah,
on
but
it.
this is yeah. That's it. That's what I was going to say to you. It's like with something like a book, or you know, if you write a film script or whatever it is, a song, you know, um, that's something material that's going to be there forever. You know, for as long as it's around. You know,
Mhm.
even past once you're gone, uh, your book will still be there for future generations to read. And I think that's really great when you can leave something like that for people to help people. So
Do
you want to try DMT?
I've thought about it. I gotta wait, do I want to criminate myself?
Oh,
I,
yeah. Right. Edit this bit
I
out.
will
we'll,
try.
we'll edit this out.
I will.
No,
I've thought about it,
videos.
but no,
I've seen
I want
yeah,
to.
yeah,
I definitely
yeah,
want
yeah.
to. But I want to make sure it's the right
You got
environment.
to be in the right. Yeah, 100%. That's what I was just going
But
to say to you. You need to be.
I will make some shroom tea and just get lost and come and
Mm.
just and
Well,
do what
the
I'm
thing
trying to do.
with that DMT is like proper hardcore. You know that's like it's such a strong psychedelic that it
I want to try
literally
ayahuasca
you.
too.
Yeah, see, I think that might be. I don't know whether that's better or not, but it's a similar type of substance, isn't it? But I know that with DMT, you literally get high off it straight away. So it's like you get shot out of your body into the other realm, and it's like instant. And I think time is manipulated there as well. So I think the DMT trip only lasts 15 minutes, but to you, it's like hours. You
That's
know, so
crazy.
yeah, yeah, I've seen a few videos where because I was quite interested in that. I would never take it myself because I'm too too old and scared to do that. But like, but you know, like I saw like I was interested in it, right? So I wanted to know about it. So I watched a couple of videos of guys that had done it, and I was explaining their experience, and I got it sounds hella interesting, you know, like they see reality like how it is, yeah. Like
Mm-hmm.
they see the cut like the colors, they see um entities or other beings coming to them and showing them the meaning of their life and whatnot. And
That's
you know,
crazy.
it sounds pretty wild, but I don't know whether I could deal with that. Like, you know, I don't know if I'd want to put my mind through that. You know what I mean?
It's because I mean, at the core, like everybody just look at your hands right now and really just sit with yourself. At the core, you are manipulating these these body parts. You're with your mind,
Mm,
you're sending a command for your arms to move around, right? This the concept that we have a body, like we're energy manipulating this body at this moment. This is the God's fucking dream. And that shit is wild.
mm.
Like you have a face, bro. Like you have eyes, you have a nose, like
Well, yeah. See,
look in
this
the
is the
mirror.
crazy thing too. Yeah, it's like with just the way the world is. That's why I know, like going back to religion again, that's why I know that there is a God. You know, there is a higher source. There is a creator, a designer of this plane. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, like our body. Yeah, you know, it's all too well designed. You know, everything in this world's got an opposite. This is a world of opposites. You know, I don't think you can think of something that hasn't got an opposite. You know, everything's got an opposite, and that's how this world it is. And the creation and design of it is too perfect for it to just to be a random event. You know, like oh, this you know, I don't know, I don't buy into that whole theory, to be honest. I know we're going off topic here, but I don't buy into that whole, you know, everything come from nothing theory, you know, like the Big Bang theory. I
Right.
don't necessarily I don't buy into that because I think that this earth was designed, you know, created, yeah, not just an accident. Now that's what they want you to believe. They want you to believe that you're some insignificant, like nothing, and like this, everything's just an accident, and you're lucky to be here, and all the rest of it. And I don't believe that. I believe that we were put here for a reason, and
Thousand
that
percent.
we were created by God. You know, we have got the God spark within us, our soul and our consciousness.
We're just consciousness in a human body. That's
Hmm.
that's it.
But see this is what messes with me. Yeah, it's like what. See, I spoke to my dad about this. He doesn't believe. He believes when you die, that's it. There's nothing. You know, it's just darkness. That's it. You know. And I said, no, no chance. I don't believe that. I believe that when you die, you just come out of this body and you move on to the next realm, wherever that is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you still keep your consciousness and everything else. And then he sort of said to me, he sort of threw a spanner in the works. He said, so what do you remember before then, before when you were a baby, before you were a baby, before you were born? I said, nothing. He said,
Okay.
exactly. And that's what you remember after you die, nothing. And I thought, oh, that was a really, I don't know,
Man.
like that didn't sit well with me. Like that made me feel a bit cold. Like it made my blood run cold because I was like, I don't like the idea of that, like dying and then there's nothing, like that's it. You know, I want to continue after. And I think
Mhm.
as well, that's what instills a lot of fear. Because, you know, like I've always had this thing about death. You know, I've always been a bit weirded out by it, to be honest. I'm not good with that.
Mhm.
And you know, when I started sort of like waking up spiritually to this sort of like concept that, well, actually, when you die, no, that's not the end. You know, you may come back again. You know, you may continue on to other realms. Yeah. When I started finding out this stuff, it kind of made me feel a bit better. You know, because I sort of thought to myself, well, death's not the end, so death's not something to be necessarily fearful of, even
It's
though I still am.
I just look at it like a because I know at the core, like we're not. It's just it's, but it's when you because you look at it like I have friendships, I have relationships, and it's just a thought of
Mm.
like that all just being on like that, and then when you look at it
Yeah.
from the perspective that you were able to experience that and you learn something from it, you know that everything is
Hmm.
just just meant for you to experience, learn, and grow.
Mm.
It makes you just grateful for the moment, makes you appreciate it and know that
Yeah.
nothing lasts forever. So appreciate it now.
Nothing, exactly. Nothing lasts forever. And it goes back to that thing of living in the now, living in the moment,
You know,
because um, yeah, it's like just like what you said there with people. Yeah, sometimes like you have people around you in your life like every day. You know, they might be work colleagues, friends, family, whoever. They're around you every day. Okay, it
hmm
might be for a period of 5 years. You know, a specific job or whatnot. You might not like this person, but you have to see them every day. Those people are not going to be around you forever. You know, life goes in cycles. So those certain people get removed from your life. You know, they might even be friends that you had in the past, but they've moved away, you've lost contact, whatever. You know, that always sort of blows my mind that you can go through like periods of your life and, you know, for a certain amount of years, you might have these people in your life like every day. And then suddenly you haven't spoke to them for 10 years. You know, it's crazy how like people can be around and then suddenly they're not. And it's the same with death, you know. That's why you should appreciate people when they're around because they are not going to be there forever, you know. And
that's a
I think that's something with this op that I had. This has really made me appreciate things so much more, you know,
mm,
because it sort of like come out of the blue. I was fine like a few weeks ago, and then now, like obviously, like last week, I was completely out of the game. I was like in so much pain, it was ridiculous. I was in a world of pain
oh
basically,
man, somebody
and
love.
yeah, yeah. Now a few people reached out to me, yeah, on Twitter and Facebook, and I really appreciate that. You know, I got phone calls from people, and yeah, it really made me feel better. Actually, it sort of it lifted my spirits, and I'm feeling much more positive this week. That's why I couldn't really do
So
the pod last week, Richard, because I was
no, you're
struggling big time. But no, I feel much more. I feel like I've turned a corner this week. I'm in less pain. I don't have to have the dressings changed every day. It's every other day now. I was able to drive for the first time in like 10 days the other
uh,
day, so you know that's a big step. So,
small wins
but
matter.
this is yeah, this is it. And it's really made me appreciate good health. Yeah, because without good health, you really have nothing because material things don't matter. You know, you can have a nice car, you can have nice clothes, you can have a good job, you can have money in the bank. But if you've got no health, then none of that stuff matters because health is wealth. Yeah. If you've got health,
Hundred
then you've
percent.
got something, you know. You could have all the money in the world. If you've got no health, what good is it? You know, if you've got health, then to me, that's the most important thing. And the people that you have around you.
People make the experience. Get your ass out my face, baby.
Yeah. Why do cats love doing that, don't they? Like
Hey,
just sort of
it's in their language a sign of respect, which is
yeah, I suppose
in my
it's
language,
giving you
fuck that shit.
respect.
I'll get you love me, trust me. You don't gotta put your ass in my face. I used to hey cats are they they good ones. They good ones. They're soul and spirit.
So are you more a cat person than a dog person then?
I grew up a dog person, bro. I honestly wanted a dog
Yeah,
before
yeah, yeah.
anything. Um,
Mm.
but I ran my first cat. My brother randomly just brought me a cat, and then I was like,
Oh
okay,
right,
because I've
cool.
been talking about wanting one during that stretch. Then it just manifested with a. And the funny part about
Yeah.
it was
Wow.
from a downstairs neighbor who just didn't want the cat anymore. So it was literally
No
in
way.
my own apartment. I was like, damn, but that's my baby. That's my little baby.
See, this is how these things happen. You know, you just proved it again there with your cat. You know,
That was a
if you
straight
think about
manifestation.
something, it can manifest. Yeah, 100%. And I find that interesting as well. But again, it's people when people hear about this, law of attraction and thoughts and
People don't
manifestation, they go,
think that
oh
they're that powerful.
yeah,
Is people that put a limitation on what they can do.
yeah,
And when you
yeah,
tell them
yeah,
that, they're
yeah,
like, it's just like the wildest concept. Like, no, bro, this shit is fucking true.
yeah. But this is it, and this is why people, like you say, they put limits on themselves because they don't believe in themselves. They don't believe they can do that. It's like, uh, you know, oh, we used to be able to communicate telepathically. Well, I
You
don't
know what
believe I can
though?
do that. So,
It's easier to blame an outside source so that you don't have to
yeah,
take responsibility than believing like, hey, I'm responsible for how my life is.
yeah,
Because kind of
yeah,
you don't
yeah,
want to face
100%.
accountability with your life.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Listen, no one likes being told the truth if the truth hurts. Nobody's perfect. Everyone's got negative aspects about them. When someone tells you something negative about yourself, you don't want to hear it.
Hmm.
Because the truth hurts. But sometimes it's important for people to tell you about negative aspects about your character because sometimes you might not even be aware of that yourself. You could be going along being a certain way and you don't even know that you're doing it until someone points it out to you. So but yeah, that's something that I'm really interested in, thoughts, manifestation and stuff like that. But people always, it's easier to think negatively than it is positively, and positive
It's
manifestations sometimes take longer.
they they
Well, it depends.
just made me lose my train of thought, girl. Wait, what was I saying?
Like the manifest. See, I hate this when this happens. I get this a lot, and I'll have to get someone to like press the rewind button to like, like,
Cause
so I can pick up on it. We were
you
talking about
going on a rant.
manifestations, and yeah, yeah, I know. Sorry, mate, I do that. I rant sometimes, man. I apologize.
No, this is
I was worried. I was worried about this that I
it
couldn't
ain't
start ranting.
look, I'm all of the bloopers of life. And I just come up with random fucking sayings I'm not gonna remember, and this is a saying I'm just coming up with as a message for whoever is listening. Um, Bloopers in your life are really the highlight of your experience. Just those moments
Mm,
where, let's say you trip, for example, and then trip in front of somebody, like not like a hard fall, but like you stumble a bit, and people are around you.
mm,
You either go feel, embarrassed, or you just go laugh. It's just like, look, it just,
mm.
it's supposed to
You just got to
happen.
laugh those things off. Yeah, exactly.
So when you just be authentic, I guess is the message with that one. Just be
Yeah,
authentic. Don't care about how you're
yeah.
perceived. Because at the end of the day, it's just how you
You
want
got to be
to.
true to yourself.
Yeah, you
You
gotta be
got to
true to
be.
yourself. Yeah.
You got to be true to yourself. Yeah, and you've got to live your own life. Yeah, you got to live. You can't. This is the other thing. Yeah, that I don't like is when people live their life for other people. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they might make decisions and do. They don't really want to be doing this, but they know how to make their parents happy. They know how to make their husband or wife happy. And people live their lives and they're not truly happy because they're not being who they really want to be. They're living a lie, basically.
Hmm. Paul, I always to end the show, I always ask the last question to my guest. What would your message be to humanity during this time?
Phew, that is a deep question to hit me with. I would say the most important thing is love. Yeah. Again, it goes back to opposites. What's the opposite of hate? Love. Yeah.
Hmm.
So hate less. Don't be dragged into these false fear traps and hate traps. Just people are inherently good. And I've noticed that as well. With if you see someone that's hurt or in pain, your natural response is to want to help them, right? If you're a good person, you're a decent person, and I believe that. I believe most people are good people. So what I would say to people is Don't get trapped by the fear
Where you break
what
you
it's supposed to be.
where you was gone for a little for that little minute.
Oh man, did I drop out in my deep answer there?
You
Did it?
you was wait what did you
Well, I would say my message. You can edit all this down anyway and get to the good bit. But
okay.
my message to people would be: don't live in fear, don't buy into the fear, and to live your life for you and to create your own reality. That's what I'd say to people.
I love that message, man. Paul, this episode has been fun. Thank you for sharing this space with me. I hope you had a good
Oh,
time,
thanks
man.
for having me on. I
Of
did,
course.
Richard. I was a bit nervous to start off with, but I calmed down towards the end. I didn't do anything on my list, but it's like you said, maybe we'll save that one for another time. But I've
Okay.
really enjoyed it, Richard. Really pleasure to be invited on the show. Appreciate it.
Of course, man. Pleasure's mine. Pleasure's mine. Guys, as always, you're the creator of your reality. Everything you think and feel and say is fucking stumbled. Fuck it. Creates the reality around you, man. You're awesome. Thanks for sharing the space with me. Um, and let's keep it going, man. Until next week, stay awesome, my peoples.